Okay, now we're recording. Let's go back to share screen. Sorry about that, guys. And I apologize to anybody else who's going to miss the first part of this call. So, okay. Customer care calls are really important, you guys. I do highly recommend you do them. Whether you have to schedule them into your calendar or not, whether you just want to do them one day a week, whether you want to do a couple of calls every day. I do believe that customer care calls are going to make a big, huge difference in your business. I really do. So, you know what? The fortune's in the follow-up, and it's really following up to make sure that your customers are happy. You want them to be able to say, oh yeah, I already have a consultant. The only way to build that connection is by keeping in contact with them. Okay. All right, so today we're going to discuss calendar management and personal discipline. All right. So we've spent the last 6 weeks of your life learning how to be an awesome consultant. But if you don't put this all together into a plan and action and actually do it, we've just wasted 6 weeks of your life. Do you agree? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you know what? There are people in this world I call information gatherers, who what they do is they go through life and they just gather all the information they possibly can, and they don't do anything with it. And we don't want to be information gatherers. We want to actually do something with what we've learned. And so I don't want this last 6 weeks to be a complete waste for you. I want it to be very helpful to you. So we need to make sure that everything that we learned in this last 6 weeks that you're going to actually go ahead and use in your business. It can do nothing but help you. All right, some people just walk through life, they talk, and life is over. Some people walk through life, they walk, and they arrive at their destination. So in other words, you can't just talk the talk, you got to walk the walk. So we really need to just go ahead and do all those things that are going to help us build our business. All right, so let's go through our self-assessment checklist. So let's do a little introspective and look into ourselves. All right. Am I walking the talk checklist? Now, don't worry, these 15 items that I'm about to read you, I will post on the page. So don't feel like you have to write these all down. I will post them. So question number 1. Do my hosts ever have to call and ask me for something? If they're calling you for something, then you're not doing your job well. Am I punctual to my host's home, team meetings, or training? This sends a message: my life is more important than your invested time. Get to your shows at least 30 to 45 minutes in advance. Anything less than that is not professional. Leave quickly at the end of the party as well. As I always like to say, don't let it feel like your host is inviting you to spend the night. Get in and get out. I mean, people really do appreciate that. Am I kind, courteous, quick to resolve issues, truthful, knowledgeable? This makes people want to work with you again. If you promise something, go ahead and make sure you deliver it. Whether you have to create a book that calls My Promise Book, or make sure you write it in your calendar before you leave a party. Or if you promise somebody you do something. I know I'm really bad. I know this about myself, that I'm really bad, that I don't remember anything. So I'm always on my phone typing in a reminder, and I remind myself about it, so I make sure I do it. Do my guests ever say to me, this was the funnest show I've ever been to. You're awesome at what you do. This makes booking easy and plentiful. Be fun, have a great time. You know what? If you have a great time at your show, they're going to have a great time at your show also. I've been to shows, or I've witnessed shows before also, whether they're live or on Facebook, where it's all really serious. You don't want it to be serious. You want people to have lots of fun, be playful with it. Do I spend too much time on non-income producing activities? This is where your calendar management is going to come important. This is all about calendar management. If you are, stop it and schedule your calendar. Non-income producing activities are things like creating your own flyers. You don't need to create your own flyer. There's tons of them on the Pampered Chef website that are absolutely professional. Well, I know one of my biggest non-income producing activities is I waste time on Facebook. I have to actually set a timer, and after that timer goes off, I got to get off Facebook, because I can just be like a squirrel and go from one thing to another. So you want to make sure it's income producing time, especially during what I call prime calling time. So if it's prime calling time, you should be calling people or texting people, however you have set up to communicate with them. Make sure you mark on your calendar. I do mark on my calendar host coaching, and I block out a little bit of time to host coach. Customer care calls, and I block out time to do customer care calls. Because if I don't set it up as an appointment, then it's no longer a priority to me. I set it up on my calendar like it's an appointment, like it's a doctor's appointment, that I have to do it. It actually beeps at me from my phone, and I make sure that I do those, because I know that is what's going to build my business. Do I procrastinate doing homework, making calls, or returning calls and emails? Again, this is sending the message that my time is more important than yours. If somebody's asking you for some information, make sure you're prompt with it. I'm not saying you have to be 24/7 on, but make sure you're prompt in getting back to them with the information that they requested. Are my host recruiting packets clear, concise, clearly labeled, and professional looking? You know, the one thing I always love to tell people is paper doesn't sell, people sell. So it really does not matter what you put in your host packet or your recruiting packet. What matters is the follow-up. But what does matter is that the fact that what you do put in your host packet is information your host can use. So it's catalogs, outside order forms, the monthly special, unless you email that to them. You also want to make sure that there's not wrinkled catalogs or wrinkled paperwork in your packets, or in your recruiting packets or your host packet. You want it to look professional. If you want them to treat you like a professional, then you need to gain that respect to be treated like a professional. And my shows start to finish, this is if you do live shows, and my shows start to finish no longer than an hour and 15 minutes. I try from the time I get into my host's house to the time I leave. I usually start my shows at 6:30, and that's another thing that we have on here. I try and start my shows to close to 6:30 as I possibly can, and my goal is to be out of our house 8:30, no more than 9 o'clock. That is my goal. Do I start on time as promised? Courtney, I was telling you, Courtney went to my show with me on Saturday, and I'm a stickler about starting on time. And the reason I'm a stickler about starting on time is this, because those people that came and arrived on time, what you're telling them by not starting on time or as close to on time as you can, is you're telling them they're not nearly as important as those 2 or 3 people that the host wants to wait for. So I always try and start my show as close to on time as possible, and I use word choices like this. Well, it's 3 o'clock now. You know what? Let's wait another 5 minutes, and if they don't show up in 5 minutes, let's go ahead and get started. And you know what? It's easy enough for them to get caught up. Because you want to value the people that actually showed up on time. You want to value them and say, you know what? Thank you so much for showing up on time. Do I fumble around during my shows, or do I keep them fast-paced, informative, fun, and full of tips? Nothing makes the customer tune you out and start flipping through the catalog or start talking to their neighbors like a boring consultant. Once again, be fun. Have a good time with it. Don't worry about that it's perfect, because we're not in this business to be perfect. It's about everybody having a fun time. They all know why they're there. They're there to shop. They do know that. So just enjoy it and have a good time. Do I really make 3 calls or contacts a day? This is where, again, calendar management comes into play. Schedule it on your calendar. I really do schedule these on my calendar along with my shows, because they're just as valuable to me as my shows. The home office asks us to make 3 contacts a day while we're out and about. Use that new product flyer to hand out to people with your business cards, or buy the little mini catalogs. Those little mini catalogs are valuable. I love the fact that they have the new, why can't I remember the slow cooker stand on it. I think that's a great piece right there. So use those to our advantage. this is a really important one, especially if you've been in the business for a little while, is 50% of my business new business. If you're consistently calling the same 10 people to have parties with, stop it. They're tired of hearing from you. Ask several times, but get some new people as well. At least 50% of your business should come from new people. 75% would be even better. Keep servicing the 25% with your 222s, but new business is what fuels your business. And the way you're going to get it is by 3 contacts a day, asking for referrals, meeting people out and about. And this is a big one also, and I know that everybody on this call, you guys are not really the people I'm talking about, but personal appearance is really key, because you know what, I have gotten, I can tell you of 2 instances right off the top of my head where I have gotten 2 recruit leads, and they actually signed up because of the person that showed up to do their show, their personal appearance, because they were not neat, they were not tidy. And I'm not talking about dressing up in a dress or a pantsuit or anything like that. I'm just talking about, at one show they showed up in a stained t-shirt and in a pair of, I can't remember what the shorts are called, and her hair was hardly even combed. And she said, there was no way I was signing. Yeah, I know you cringe at that, but it's true. Personal appearance is key. And so when you show up at your shows, I'm not saying, like I said, to be completely dressed up, but just to make sure your appearance is nice, your hair is combed, your teeth are brushed. I know for most of us, this sounds like basic stuff, but we need to remember that we need to be neat in appearance when we show up. Also, your kids should be clean and tidy. You know, and nothing says like, I'll not be booking with you, than having dirty tools. And you know what, you guys, it happens. So you need to make sure that your tools are really clean. And can you be counted on? If you say something or promise something, do you always deliver? So you know what, are you walking the talk checklist? Make sure that you are the person people want to refer. When somebody refers you, their name is on the line. And so you want to make sure that you represent the person that refers you to the best you can possibly do. And there's no greater, the word has just slipped my mind. No greater reward, that's not the word. Somebody refers you. You guys help me with this word. What's that?
Compliment?
Compliment, thank you, yes. There's no bigger compliment. That was really hard, you guys. There was no bigger compliment than somebody referring you, because that means that they trust you enough to give your name out, okay? So we want to make sure that people do refer us, and the best way we can do is by giving them the best customer service we can possibly do. All right, so self-complacency is fatal to progress. Self-evaluation is hard, but if you can see some areas you're lacking in, then you need to reevaluate your priorities if you want to be successful, really at anything. You know, I always constantly, once a year, I reevaluate everything I'm doing. I do a self-evaluation. What did I do last year that was working? What would I do that's not working? And I always do a self-evaluation, because every single year I do want to improve. All right, so our last pillar is will, all right? Okay, you can have tons of skill, and after this series, if you've done your homework, you have the skills but if your will isn't there, you've got nothing but chance, and that's not good. You have to be willing to do it. You walk the talk. Okay, talk the walk and walk the talk. Thank you. Honest, it's only water in here, trust me. Okay, all right. So, all right, you know what? I can't make you work. I can't make you make your host calls. I can't make you follow up with your potential recruits. I can't book your parties. I can't make you play with your tools. I can't make you earn a trip. I can't make you be punctual and prompt. I can't make you want to share this business with absolutely everyone you come in contact with. I can't make you smile at everyone, but you can if you will. All right? So I can only give you the lessons. You actually have to take those lessons and do something with them. All right. It's all up to you and your will. Here's your comfort zone, and that's where the magic happens. You have to get out of your comfort zone, and the magic will happen. Trust me, I promise you, I pinky swear with you, that the magic will happen once you start getting out of your comfort zone. All right? I believe in you. And you know what, Kathy and I really believe in you guys. We really do. But it can't just be up to us to believe in you. You have to believe in yourself. We know you can do it, but you have to believe you can do it also. All right? So I want you to stop and think, what do I need to stop? What do I need to start? And what do I need to continue? So guys, I want you to pull out something to write with. We're going to do, this is going to be a little test right now, okay? So what I want you to do is, what do you need to stop? Write down at least one or two things that you feel that you need to stop right now that's hurting your business. I feel like I need to play the theme to Jeopardy. Okay? What do you need to start doing? What are you not doing? What have you learned in this class? Maybe what did you learn on some of the audios that you were listening to? What are two things that you need to start right now that you know will help make your business the success you want it to be? You know, we all know what we want our business to look like, and that's different for everybody. But what are the two activities that you know that if you start them right now will help you reach that goal that you have for yourself? And then what do you need to continue? There are things that we're doing in our business right now that are working. And so what I want you to write down is one or two ideas of things you're doing right now that you know are working for you and that you want to continue to do. Okay. Now this is a little bit longer class than we normally have had. Normally it's been about 20 minutes or so. But does anybody have any other questions about anything that we went over? No? No questions? I'll wait till I see everybody's face in the Brady Bunch thing. Okay, so let's go over the fun stuff. What is your homework? I'm going to post those 15 things that I read off, and I'd like you to sit down and do a self-evaluation. Write yes or no next to them. Commit to changing areas you feel you're lacking. And then I'll also post this on there, is I want you to watch the Michael Reeves video that he has on his top 20 businesses, the top 20 business tips. Just if you don't know anything about Michael Reeves, he's number one, if nothing else, hysterical. He actually lost his career sales 9 times. He lost his career sales. And he's now a top seller in the company with over $1 million in sales. I don't know, something else you might not know about him is he was in a horrific car accident to where he spent weeks in the hospital and then months in the rehab facility. But he still maintained his business because, as he said, it was the bread and butter of his family. And so he maintained his business. He just worked it a different way. And to see him today, you would never know he was in that accident. But I'm going to post the video on there, and I want you to watch it. I want you to write down tips, at least 5 tips that you gain from watching this video. Okay? All right, now just a reminder, this is where your comfort zone is. This is where the magic happens. Okay? All right, so thank you guys. I love the minions. Oops, I gotta get out of screen first. Stop sharing. Oh, there's the Brady Bunch. Yay, there's Donna. Okay, so what questions, or maybe you guys tell us something that you learned from the 6 weeks, other than how to do Zoom. Come on, you guys can't all be silenced. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of you, 6 of you on this, and Kathy also, but Kathy can't talk. She can't talk. That's right. So tell, somebody start. What's one thing that you got out of this class? Let me know it's been worthwhile.
Well, I know
I really enjoyed
tonight
the call.
I need to step out of my comfort zone.
Well, that's good. Exactly. Stepping out of your comfort zone is really going to help. You know what? I will applaud you when you do, because it's the hardest thing. It really is. Kathy and I have been there. Stepping out of that comfort zone is not easy. But you know what? You will definitely grow. Yeah. Courtney, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I can't remember his last name, but the call with Michael, learned a lot from him. I learned that I procrastinate more than I realized, which is something I need to be more aware of. But I like that he's so successful and this is not his full-time job. So it kind of makes me feel a little bit more like it's possible.
Right. There's an interesting fact that I was listening to in a training, and an interesting fact that I heard that like 10 years ago, oh, hold on, we've got 9 minutes. Okay. Like 10 years ago, probably 70% of direct sellers worked a full-time job. Now 90% of direct sellers work a full-time job alongside having a home-based business like this. So it is okay. So it is, if anybody can tell me what Kathy's sign language means, I'll be happy.
I think she says a lot of us. I think, no.
You mean a lot of, she's raising her hand. Yeah. You know what, everybody on this call, well, Lisa and Dean and I, we are, we don't, but everybody else on this call, I would say a big, huge majority of our team works a full-time job. But the good news is you can do both. And you don't have to do it the same level everybody else does. The great thing is you work this business to the level you want to work it. So great. Thank you for sharing that, Courtney. Anybody else?
I agree with the comfort zone thing. That was my biggest thing, and I'm starting to really get out of it.
Yeah.
By all the things that we've talked about and learned over the last 6 weeks.
Good. Because it is. It's stepping out of that little circle. It's scary, but it's really well worth it. Good. Anybody else want to share anything? No?
I really learned that host coaching makes a big difference. Even in my own sales with the few parties I've had since we've started the sessions, host coaching has made the biggest difference for me. Mm-hmm. And I've been very bad at it, so I need to keep that up.
Right.
But I find the better that I get at it, the better my sales are and the happier my hosts are. Mm-hmm. So that really helps.
Oh, great. Thank you for sharing, Lisa. Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. Anybody else?
I kind of on the same as that. I guess I thought I was doing a good job, but my current host must not be doing what I'm telling her because she said she did. And then when I'm like, okay, it's down to the wire. We've had this open. We need to submit what you have. All of a sudden, overnight, she magically got over $300 in orders.
Mm-hmm.
So you haven't been doing what I said. And she's like, oh, yeah, people at work said they didn't even know I was having a party.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's frustrating.
I know. And it's hard. And then, because you can't say to them, well, if you'd only done what I told you to do, you can't say that.
Right.
Besides you can, but you can't compare. Yeah. So awesome. Well, good. It does. Hostess coaching really works. You tell them and and it helps them and it helps you. So, okay. Any other words of wisdom anybody has? No? Kathy, like to add anything? Okay. You know what, you guys? Awesome job. I'm going to go ahead. I know we all have at least one coaching call left with everybody to go over this week's homework. I'll post it on the Facebook page. And like I said, I'll post the poll and see if you guys want to continue. If you do, I am more than willing to do this. I will tell you the next 2 Sundays, though, we would have to skip 2 Sundays. I am going to be out of town out west. And so, but don't forget our team meeting on Tuesday. Okay? It's going to be fun. And you guys all have a great Sunday evening. Thanks for joining. Bye, guys.
You too. Have a good evening. Good night.
Bye, everybody.
Good night.